Hi there, another video again. And this talk is going to be about fake healers. I've been on this journey. I mean, before the awakening, for example, I was brought up with a mother that ran psychic and spiritual, well, more psychic events, and they had all different kind of people, and I've seen it all. Because of my upbringing, I was 6 years of age running around in these kind of events when I was a kid. And all different witchy kind of people and healers. And being around the atmosphere for such a long time. So it's not like I've just had an awakening and I'm new to all this stuff. I've seen it all. I've not seen it all, but I've seen a lot. And there are a lot of people out there who are fake healers. And why are they fake? Well, if I was to say to you that even though I've had this unexpected spiritual awakening, which has nothing to do with my mum or that being grown up in that atmosphere, well, that would have some influence, but the awakening was a separate experience that no one could give me but within me. But even me, who's been going through this awakening for 9 years, with all this healing, I can't awaken you. And I can't heal you. Because your traumas, everyone's traumas runs deep in them. And that's the thing. So people's traumas run deep within them. And so if anyone comes to you, excuse me, who's done a course or something, and they've not even had an awakening yet, they've not had that big awakening, they've just done a course on something. But the awakening takes you to that next level. Takes you to that next level. I'm sorry about that. That was just my cat running in the house. But coming in the window. But anyway, what I was saying is, if I was to tell you I could heal you, that isn't the truth. That I can't do that, because everyone's traumas is deep and unique to you, and you only deal with these traumas through meditation and inward healing, and it's an everyday, step-by-step, long process. It's not something that someone can come along, oh, I'm a healer and I can do all this magical stuff, I am the Messiah. No, it doesn't work that way. Because even if that was true, even if that were true and they could heal you, what would that then tell you? That's telling you that you're not good enough on your own. Right? And the other thing, see, a lot of people that aren't awake spiritually don't understand about healing, and they don't understand about healers. The thing about real healers is that a healer is a person who hasn't healed other people, but they've healed themselves. And that's how you know it's worked. That's the only way you know it's worked. So then you can then call yourself a healer. Like I call myself a healer. But that's because I've healed myself. That's because I've benefited from the healing. But I still can't heal you or anyone else properly. Because only you can do that. Because only you have went through your traumas and went through that things, and only you can really access that and heal that. And that's why it has to come from you, your own healing. So then later on, you're like, oh, that's amazing, I healed and then you're reflecting back and you feel so amazing within, because you're the result of your own happiness and well-being. That's why it has to come from within. The other thing about healers is, a lot of people that are asleep want to be in a relationship with a healer. But let me tell you something about someone that's healed themselves. Someone that's had, the real healers are those that have had that big awakening. Now, people did, before the lockdown, travel all around the world to get that awakening. They would go to great gurus, and a lot of time it wouldn't happen. And the reason they want the awakening is because then you can heal properly. But once you get that awakening, like for me, it was unexpected, out of nowhere. You're not gonna, anyone that wants to be in a relationship or is trying to tell you they like a healer in a romantic sense, it's not gonna happen for you. Not usually. And the reason is because once you have awakened, you've got a different type of energy field to people. So when someone says, "Oh, I was with a healer," no, you weren't. Because I know this from my awakening, that a healer, when you've healed yourself, you become very protective of your energy field, and you're not, because you're happy within yourself. You don't tend to go in a relationship unless it's extremely high vibrational. And an extremely high vibrational relationship is an extremely rare thing. So you're talking about a twin flame situation. And these people that try and say, "Oh, I was with this healer and it ended so quickly," no, you weren't. You weren't. That was a person claiming they were a healer, but hadn't had that awakening. If they had had an awakening, they certainly wouldn't have looked at you. And I know this from my own awakening myself, that I don't mean this to sound arrogant or anything, but I wouldn't look sideways at the kind of women that I used to look at, or anyone, because once you have that awakening, you do a lot of healing. It's only when we lack love within ourselves that we look externally. So a real healer will not look externally, and they don't get into short-term relationships that isn't going to serve their soul. I see a lot of these kind of people that say this. "Oh, I was with a healer." No, you weren't. What you would have been with is someone that were claiming they were a healer, probably done a course, but a real healer is someone who's healed themselves. And the only way that people like that I would ever get in a relationship with someone is if it was extremely high vibrational. Most of these people that are saying this stuff aren't very high vibrational. So, but there's a lot of this kind of talk going around, and it needs to be spoken about through someone that has done a lot of healing. Someone that I'd never done a course on spirituality. What happened to me was, like I say, I had an unexpected spiritual awakening out of nowhere. And I didn't even know what an awakening was, and then I found out that it's the greatest experience you can ever have. Once you have that awakening, that's you on an absolute new journey. You're now returned to your true self. And when you're on that kind of journey, like I said, you're not going to look at just the average Joe on the street, are you? Or Josephine or whoever. You're not. Because you're on such a beautiful journey within, and you're not going to have, like, I haven't been in a physical relationship with a woman for many years now, and that's because of the happiness I've got within. I don't feel any need to look externally. Right? These kind of people, if you're a low vibrational human and you're not had that awakening, those kind of people, I guarantee you, will not look at you like that. Because they don't look at people in this low vibrational way as, "Oh, I need this person to make me feel better for a little amount of time." They don't get involved in short-term, low vibrational, needy relationships. That is what people in the third dimension do. But when you have that spiritual awakening, you're now in a different dimension. That's why you feel different. That's why your awareness is different. That's why your perceptions are different. And this is so people that are saying this stuff, "I was in a relationship with a healer." No, you weren't. You were in a relationship with someone that was claiming to be a healer. Because if they were a healer, they wouldn't have been looking at you. You know, because because you realize once you've healed yourself and you're going through this journey, that all is within you. And so this is what people talk about in the twin flame relationship. And that is not a relationship with a healer and a low vibrational human. That's a relationship between two ascended masters. Two people that have been on awakening journeys for many, many years. And they say that they meet each other and it's not even through trying, and it's effortless. It's not like this low, needy relationship thing. So I just felt today I wanted to address this, and I wanted to let people know this, because there's a lot of misinformation about this kind of thing, and people out there saying they're healers, and then they look at people and they're still in this mode of low vibrational relationships. Well, if you're a healer, if you really healed yourself, you wouldn't have this needs. Because the more, that's why people have the perception that when you're more evolved, sex, you're not interested in sex. It's not that you're not interested in sex, you're not interested in low vibrational relationships. So people can perceive you, oh, he mustn't like sex. No, it's not that at all. It's that I'm not willing to put myself through a low vibrational relationship because I simply don't desire that. The only thing I want to be, or people like that want to be, is in presence. And in presence and practicing it all the time. And, you know, if you can, share the information on. But you're certainly not going to, I mean, I have no desire. I mean, it's been many years. I was 26, 27, I think. When I was last in a relationship. I'm 32, 33 on my birthday. And I'm not even looking. And that's because of the amount of healing I've done. Because what happens is the more you heal those traumas within, the less desires you have. You know, the less desires you will have. And so it melts away all these ego desires. When we want someone, usually it's because of ego desires, because we're not happy within. But like I say, a true healer don't look at, I don't know what, there's a word for it, but a lower vibrational relationship, just a short-term fix thing, they're not like that. Right? Because once you're starting to live for the highest good, you're not going to look at a relationship like that. When you're living from the highest good, the only way you're going to get in a relationship is for the highest good. It's going to be to really inspire others to be in a situation like that. And you only get to a situation like that, in a relationship like that, when you've done a lot of healing. And like I say, people like that, they're not going to look at someone who is just going to be a short-term relationship. It's not like that. You're not living your life anymore for sexual desires or desires of because you're lonely. You're not like that anymore. But people who haven't had that big awakening don't understand the way that these real healers feel. But it's true. You only go on the path of real healing once you have that big spiritual awakening, which people in the past have paid lots of money for, and many times don't get it. But how do you get an awakening? Well, it happens when you decide. When you decide that the outward world is enough, that's when you decide to go within, and that's when you're on that journey. But I just felt this was important today, because there is a lot of misinformation and people saying, oh, I was with this healer, and because I've been going through this awakening for many years now, unexpected awakening, I know what it takes to heal, and it's not a 5-minute journey. If anyone is a very young person, and are telling you they've healed and they're a perfect healer, it's a lie. Healing, I had the awakening 24, that was young. And I'm still going through healing. And it's all the time. And although I've healed a lot, it's an infinite path. And you're not gonna, and then when you're like this, you're not wanting anything to distract you, and especially not a short-term relationship, just to make your ego feel better. Because when you've had that awakening, you're no longer living by ego. You're living by real authenticity, truth, and that is the only real currency that matters in our lives. And that's what you're living by in this spiritual awakening path. And so in this, you don't look at needy things anymore. So that's why if someone tells you they were with a healer, or a healer looked at them and it was a short-term relationship, no, that wouldn't have happened. That would have been someone She certainly didn't have a spiritual awakening. It would have been someone, a 3D human who probably done a course on healing, but had a lot of healing to do. Because the fact that they looked at you tells you that they had a lot of healing to do, or else they wouldn't have looked at you. You don't look at external things. The desire for that goes away once you've done a lot of healing. And I just felt this was necessary today. And thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you.